Hey guys, it's Matt from Hashtag Analytics. Today I want to showcase a really important feature. Okay, this is a detailed comparison feature that is currently on Hashtag. Now, before I talk about the feature itself, I have to say something that's really important for people to understand. 80% of growth in an asset comes from the location where the asset is located, and only 20% with the asset from the asset's characteristics, which means that you first have to address the high yielding activities. And what are the high yielding activities? Finding that perfect suburb that matches what you're trying to do, your growth targets in your brief. Okay, now in the process of finding that perfect suburb, you need to have the ability to compare suburbs across a multitude of metrics in a very streamlined manner. Now, before I showcase to you that streamlined manner and how you do that, I first want to draw you to an article, and I'll drop this in the YouTube video. I'll drop the link to it. I did extensive research on this and the fact that 80% of growth comes from the location where the asset is located and not the asset characteristics, only 20% from the asset characteristics. I published this article in Hashtag Mastermind. By the way, guys, I come from an academic background. I have a PhD in organizational psychology. So when I do research, I really perform in-depth research. And what I did is, if you see in the reference list, I used articles that were published in Journal of Housing Economics, really highly cited academic articles, to draw these conclusions and to highlight to you how important the area selection is. Okay, I'll drop the link in the comments so you can have access to it. It's a very important read because you need to understand where your focus will go in order for you to maximize your returns. Now, coming back to the feature itself, what is the problem that we're dealing with? Now, the problem that we're dealing with is called opportunity cost. Okay, what is opportunity cost? It is the cost of investing in an area that's not going to give you an optimal amount of growth. Now, achieving optimal amount of growth requires us to triangulate, to look at areas that we are in our shortlist from multiple angles. What are these multiple angles? Now, Hashtag, we pride ourselves in having by far, if you look at the screen, guys, by far the most metrics currently available on the market, in the upward number of 150 at the moment, and we're expanding. Now, the reason why we have so many metrics is that we provide our users with the ability to actually look at areas from multiple angles to understand how the area will perform in the short term, in the midterm, and the long term. But the problem we're trying to analyze is 10 areas here, but actually we have 9,846 entries. Okay, so at the moment there's 9,846 entries that we're trying to compare. Imagine trying to compare close to an infinite amount of suburbs across 150 metrics. You need a very robust mechanism to do that, because trying to look at the actual table and looking at one suburb and then the other and trying to compare its dwelling or school rank or infrastructure spend becomes impossible for us, because our minds are not built to consume such large amounts of information and actually make a decision. And this is why we built a DEX module. Now, the DEX module is located at the bottom of the table, and the DEX module is the only module currently in the market in Australia that allows you to compare as many suburbs as you want, whether it's 2, whether it's 10,000, across as many metrics as you want. Not only that, but it allows you to compare all of those suburbs and across all of those metrics by nuancing and assigning weightings to metrics that are more important for what you're trying to achieve. Okay, you will place a different importance on some of the metrics if your investment time horizon is short term. You will impose different weightings or significance on metrics if your investment time horizon is midterm, let's say 5 years, or if it's long term, if it's 10 years. Okay, you will also look at different metrics on the basis of when you need to extract equity to buy additional property. Okay, to buy a new property, to expand your portfolio. Let's say you have the serviceability to buy in the next 2 years. You need an area that's going to deliver a substantial amount of return in the next 2 years, but you also want to make sure that area is a long-term performer as well if you want to hold the asset 10 years. This is why we need a multitude amount of metrics, 150, so we can discern, okay, what it's going to perform in the short term, how it's going to perform in the long term, how it's going to perform in midterm, because we can't sacrifice the short-term returns for the long-term returns and vice versa. And as I said before, in order to do that, you need to build robust modules that allow you to perform such a very complex analysis. And this is where DEX comes into play. What you guys need to do is you can just click on DEX essentially. Now, on HTAG, we have a DEX Lite version and a DEX Pro version. DEX Lite version contains 33 metrics. DEX Pro version contains 150 metrics. If you scroll down, you'll see all of the metrics there, okay? Now, what is beautiful about DEX is that it also teaches our users about the importance and significance of metrics on what you're trying, or what they're trying to achieve. So what you'll guys see is that some of the metrics have an L1 next to them, some of them have an L2, some of them have an L3. This is an inherent hierarchy of metrics. Okay, which metrics are most important? Those that are most important are level 1 metrics. Those that are a little bit less important are level 2 metrics. Those that are least important are level 3 metrics. We always come into this paralysis analysis process when we're looking at so many metrics in one instance and we don't know which one to pick and which one to focus on. And DEX actually solves the paralysis analysis problem. It tells you about the hierarchy, but not only does it tell you about the hierarchy, it also tells you about the time frame that is associated with the metrics. So you have a midterm metric, you have a long-term metric, you have a short-term metric. And this allows you to really layer the information to understand, okay, how will something perform in the short term, how will something perform in the midterm, and how will something perform in the long term. Now, the beauty of DEX is that you can assign weighting scores or multipliers. You want to nuance some metrics that are really important for what you're trying to achieve. And then when you assign multipliers, at the bottom of the cheat sheet, you're provided, at the bottom of DEX, you're provided with the cheat sheet to actually see what multipliers are attracted to certain levels and hierarchy of metrics that it can help you in really layering the information to really increase the accuracy of your outcomes. And this is where it comes back to opportunity cost. When you're comparing 9,000 suburbs, you really need to know which one is the best. And DEX allows you to do that by assigning weightings and significance to those metrics that will produce the best possible output. Now, guys, what you'll see is that currently I haven't selected any strategy. I did a video on how to develop a strategy, how to develop your goal, and I'll also provide a link to that video in this video as well. If you start from goal setting and from strategy, you will also have a strategy listed here that you are trying to achieve or under which you're buying the property, and it will pre-populate all of these multipliers for you. All you need to do is literally generate DEX scores, and once you generate DEX scores, the entire 9,846 suburbs are actually ranked for you. And you can see the ranking score on the right hand side. Now guys, disregard the actual area names. Remember, I haven't chosen the strategy. I'm just highlighting the power of DEX, which is a module that allows you to compare as many suburbs as you want across 150 metrics in actual minutes. And this is very important for you in the context of understanding that area selection is the most important aspect in you realizing your goals. I hope this helps, guys. Take care.